latrine for the high priest. I don't know. I don't know if you think that's funny. I think that's really funny. But in any case, is that an authentic saying of Jesus? I don't know. But this Eliezer bar Hyrcanus knew someone who knew Jesus and was considered sympathetic. So he was criticized a lot in the Talmud, but he was also presented as a very important pupil of another teacher, Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was the one who had the arrow shot into Vespasian's camp, calling Vespasian the world ruler that would come out of Palestine. So they're all playing with this one. I forgot to mention one thing. You know, when it said they do not separate in the temple, and each man lies with a woman in her period. You see, this is how Herodians or foreign kings would be perceived. This would be like a scurrilous, slanderous thing said about them. Oh, they're all sleeping with these women in their periods, like their foreign wives and everything like that. They don't observe Hebrew, purity regulations. So it isn't the high priest; it's the Herodians who would be perceived like that. So I think again that's an allusion to the non-Jewishness of the Herodian family. They're all sleeping with women in their periods. The priests are polluted because they're taking their appointment from the Herodians after the Maccabees are slaughtered by Herod. And after the last Maccabean, Miriam's brother, Jonathan, that you have in Josephus, if you read him carefully, is drowned in the pool in Jericho because when he put on the high priestly vestments, the people started to weep. That's something like Joe Stalin or Saddam Hussein or Hitler would do. And I think Herod ranks right up there. He ranks right up there. To my mind, if you want to blame anyone for the destruction of the Jewish people at the time of Jesus and in Rome, it isn't the death of Jesus. It's Herod. Herod almost single-handedly destroyed the Jewish people. It's frightening to see what he did. And just a complete maniac. The closest to him that we've seen in our time is Saddam Hussein, the way he behaved, killing his in-laws and anyone who opposed him, and the mirth he took at these things. And Stalin was like that. He thought all this was a big joke when he'd have people go out and shoot themselves, or he'd listen to the accounts of the torture and see if they began to beg for mercy. That would give him a lot of pleasure and stuff like that. Josephus says Herod went out in disguise and used to listen to the complaints of the people about him. Then he'd have them all arrested, taken to Machaerus, where John the Baptist was beheaded, and had them tortured and put to death. And Josephus was, not an enemy of the establishment. Terrible period, this. Anyway, this is very hopeful literature in that period. And he shall utterly destroy all the sons of Seth. These escaped in the era of the first visitation, while the backsliders were delivered up to the sword. Column 8. And this also will be the judgment on all those who enter this covenant. I'm going to read fast now because I want to do 8 and 9 and be done with this. So we can get on to the community rule next time and the Habakkuk Pesher next time, and then finish up with an assortment of things the last purpose. On all those who entered this covenant who did not hold fast to the laws, their visitation, fourth visitation, will be for destruction by the hand of Belial. This is the day on which God commandments, or again, the word is actually visit. It can be visit or command. Manuscript B adds, and he said, the princes of Judah are those who are removers of the bound. Now watch this. Upon whom wrath shall be poured. That's Hosea. Now we're talking about the princes of Judah. I would say that has to do with the rulers, the leaders of the present Judea. For they have become diseased without cure. Maccabees or Herodians. Let's keep it in mind. And he will exterminate them, since all of them are rebels, manuscript B adds, since they came to the covenant of repentance, but have not turned aside from the way of traitors. Here's that traitor usage we're going to get again in the Habakkuk commentary. Rather than, and if you like, Judas Iscariot, if you think of it that way, rather they have immersed themselves or wallowed in the ways of fornication and evil riches. And they have been vengeful, and each man has borne malice against his brother, each man hating his brother, that is not loving him. And each man has sinned against the flesh of his own flesh, that is taken near relatives to wed, that is niece marriage. Approaching them for fornication again. And they have used their power for riches and profiteering. We'll hear about profiteering again in the Habakkuk coming. Each man doing what was right in his own eyes and choosing the stubbornness of his own heart. For they did not keep apart from the people, or possibly peoples, that is the non-Jews. Again, the root keeping apart, NZR, here is the same as Nazareth. And have knowingly sinned, walking in the way of evil ones, about whom God said their wine, this is another good one, is the venom of vipers. Again, that generation of viper stuff. And the cruel poison of asps. Their wine is the venom of vipers, and the cruel poison of asps. Quote Deuteronomy 32:33. The vipers are the kings of the peoples. There's that term, the kings of the peoples. That is a known term in Roman jurisprudence. It meant kings of the minor republics in the eastern parts of the empire. Now, I don't think I have to go any further than that, too, to prove that they're talking. That's a Roman legal term. Peoples are ethne in Greek, Gentiles in the English American translation. Paul is the apostle to the peoples, the ethnic. You can read the Greek in the New Testament if you like. So the peoples are in the eastern Mediterranean, the kings of the peoples. Elsewhere, the Roman emperor didn't need kings beneath him. From Spain to Greece, there were no kings. But further east, there were all kings. Cilicia had a king, and lots of other places. Several places in Syria and in Palestine and further east. Okay. The vipers are the kings of the peoples. Their wine is their waves. Now remember, yayin is wine in Hebrew. Y-Yud-Nun, yayin. Our wine, I think, comes from that word yayin. Wine and yayin are very close. And the poison of asps is the head of the kings of Greece. Now here people say, oh, you see, we're in the Greek period. Are we? Is not the Roman emperor the head of the kings of Greece? That is the Grecian-speaking kings of Asia Minor, Syria, and elsewhere. Greek was spoken in all those places. So you say, you're stretching it, Eisenman. Maybe. You see, the yayin plays on Yavan.